Good evening. I'd like to call to order the meeting for Bedford Township for January 9th, 2024. Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, if Pastor Dusty Reed with Compelled Church could open us up in prayer.
Let's pray. God, we're just so thankful just for your many blessings and just the fact that you are just good and that we can trust in you and everything. And we're just thankful that we're all here. And we just pray you'd go before us as a township. You'd be with this board. You would allow them to cling to wisdom. They would just trust not in their own understanding, but they'd lean upon you. We just pray you'd bless us and you'd just go before us. In your name, amen.
Amen. Appreciate you. Okay. We have a public hearing. A resolution to establish the Captiva Plats 1 and 2 Road Special Assessment District role. Ms. Hirschberger.
I don't think anyone's here, but we'll have to open the public hearing first.
Okay, motion to open a public hearing.
Make the motion.
Second.
Okay, motion and seconded. Any discussion? Call the roll.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Steiner?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Montry?
Aye.
Ms. Janasek?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Prony?
Aye. Comments from the public? Okay, seeing none, looking at a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Okay, motion is seconded. Any discussion? Call the roll.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Steiner?
Aye.
Ms. Janasek?
Aye.
Mr. Montry?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Prony?
Aye, the motion passed 7-0.
So tonight, this public hearing is to approve the role or cost of the project per parcel. The district was already approved at our December 19th meeting. Attached, you'll find the resolution and the public hearing notice for the Road Improvement Special Assessment District role for Captiva Plats 1 and 2. This public hearing is to approve the role only. The project will cost approximately $249,000, which comes to $3,000 per parcel. There are 83 parcels in the Special Assessment District. If there are no questions, I'll make a motion that we approve the resolution to establish the Captiva Plats 1 and 2 Road Special Assessment District role as presented.
Support.
Okay, motion supported by Ms. Janaszek. Any more discussion? Okay, could you call the roll, please?
Hirschberger votes aye. Ms. Janaszek?
Aye.
Mr. Montry?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Steiner?
Aye.
Mr. Prony?
Aye, the motion passed 7-0. Approval of the agenda. I'd just like to add under the consent agenda the resignation of Joe Lamkowski from the Planning Commission. Other than that, we have nothing. And
Are you going to remove then aye?
yes,
Okay.
you could just put it under consent. Okay, could you call the roll, please?
Need a motion?
Motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Support.
Okay, motion supported.
Who supported? I'm sorry. Okay.
Any discussion? Just call the roll, please.
Mr. Steiner?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Montry?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Ms. Janaszek?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Prony?
Aye, the motion passed 7-0. The consent agenda committee recommends to approve and place on file the minutes from the December 19th, 2023 regular meeting of the Bedford Township Board. B, accept the regret of the resignation of Tom Corvette from the Planning Commission effective immediately. C, accept the regret the resignation of Joe Lamkowski from the Planning Commission effective immediately.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Support.
Okay, motion is supported by Mr. Gore. Any discussion? Okay, could you call the roll?
Mr. Steiner?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Ms. Janaszek?
Aye.
Mr. Montry?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Prony?
Aye, the motion passed 7-0. Okay, number 4, presentations, financial audit report from Cambridge and Company.
Good evening. I'd like to thank the board for the opportunity to be here tonight. My name is Joe Verlin from Gabers & Company, And I'm going to go through the audit. I don't intend to cover all 60 pages. Hopefully that's not too upsetting to anyone. But certainly if there are questions along the way, don't hesitate to ask. I'm more than happy to take them. What matters more than anything else is on page 1 of the audit report. This is where we provide an opinion on your financial statements. So we received a working set of financial statements. We confirmed and verified the numbers provided to us with various banking and financial institutions, the county, the state of Michigan, and everything that was provided to us was verified. And the second paragraph down, we wrote, in our opinion, the financial statements present fairly, in all material respects, the financial position of the township as of June 30, 2023. This is referred to as a clean or non-modified opinion on your financial statements. This is the highest level of an opinion that we can provide on your financials. It means that your controls are effectively operating and suitably designed to make sure that you have timely, accurate, and verifiable financial statements. We have had larger organizations who have had either qualified or adverse opinions on their financial statements because they couldn't stand behind the numbers provided to us. It certainly means something to get a clean opinion, but always should be the township's goal to have a clean opinion on your financial statements. The next section that I take readers through starts on page 5. This is the management discussion and analysis section of the audit report, and it's roughly 9 pages of it's the Cliff Note section. So we can see financial highlights, we can see 2-year comparative information, and then some narrative explaining reasons for significant changes in your finances during the past 2 years. So starting with the financial highlights on page 5, we can see that theoretically, if the township sold all of its assets and paid all of its liabilities, there would be about $49.85 million left over. It's referred to as net position. It's a theoretical number. Of course, the township has no intention of doing that. What does matter is a little bit further on in that first bullet point, the revenues exceeded your expenses by about $4.7 million. So in other words, you had, in the corporate world, we would call this net income. You're operating at a sustainable level, and we see an increase in your net position. If a reader of the financial statement asks, is the township better off financially at June 30, 2023 compared to June 30, 2022, the answer is yes, by about $4.7 million. Second bullet point down, now we're looking at the fund balances for the township's funds. This is the more checkbook basis of accounting. What are your immediate resources available to cover your immediate obligations? The difference being fund balance. And your total fund balance at June 30, 2023 was about $12.8 million at the end of the year. That too was an increase of about $2.9 million for the 12 months ended June 30, 2023. In other words, the cash into the township exceeded the cash out by just about $3 million. And then if we look across all the funds of the township, there was about $3.39 million of unassigned fund balance. So of your total fund balance, about 26.5% of it fell into the unassigned category. And then lastly, that third bullet point, now we're looking just at the general fund. And unassigned fund balance for your general fund came in at $5.16 million. And if we take that $5.16 million and divide it by the annual general fund expenditures and transfers out, the township has about 109% sitting in your I guess as a buffer in your fund balance. Unassigned fund balance is the amount that you guys have available to cover the day-to-day cost of running the township. You can use that to cover wages, supplies, utilities. Not too much, not too little. Very healthy financial position as of June 30, 2023. Most of our townships range right around 75 to 100%. So right on par with where most of our townships are at the end of the year. If you continue on to page 8 now, we get a look at the comparative assets and liabilities of the township for each of the last 2 years. The first section shows governmental activities, your governmental funds. Then we look at the sewer fund in the middle section there, your business type activities. And then the very last column, total primary government. If we look at across all funds for the township, very top row, it's always nice to see how your cash and investments are doing. You can see they went from basically $19.97 million at June 30, 2022, up to $21.9 million as of June 30, 2023. Healthy increase in cash investments, the biggest reason being the overall increase in your net position. And there was some pay down of long-term debt as well. Altogether, basically about a $2 million increase in your cash and investments during the course of the year. If you look about 6, 7 rows up from the bottom in the non-current liability section, the township does have retiree health care obligation. Here it's described as a net OPEB liability. That number decreased $673,000 at June 30, 2022, down to $438,000 as of June 30, 2023. Many of our communities are struggling to finance and cover the cost of those long-term retiree health care as well as defined benefit pension plans. You guys are in very, very good shape. Many of our clients have, $5-10 million of unfunded net pension liability. You guys don't have that scenario here. So very, very modest net OPEB liability. And you can see it actually decreased because of some of the changes that were made to the plan during the course of the year. And then lastly, 2 rows up from the bottom, the unrestricted net position for the township. The very last column shows that at June 30, 2022, the number came in at $13.5 million compared to $14.3 million at June 30, 2023. So a healthy increase in your unrestricted net position across all the funds of the township. The very next page, if you go to page 9, this shows comparative revenues and expenses for the last 2 years. And again, looking at the total government, the very last 2 columns, 3 rows up from the bottom, you can see that the change in that position at June 30 for the 12 months ended June 30, 2022, about $4.3 million compared to a favorable increase of about 4.7. So back-to-back years with increasing net position for the township, a very good sign. It certainly helped out in the current year, fiscal 23. There was a $1.2 million amount of debt that was forgiven by the county. That was certainly beneficial. That was a chunk of the $4.7 million. But even without that, there would have been about a $3.5 million increase in total net position during the course of the year. If you go all the way to page 17, we get a look at the fund balances for the governmental funds of the township. We can see specifically the general fund, fire fund, and the ARPA fund, and all the other funds are aggregated together. In the other governmental funds, they're considered non-major, so they get grouped into one column. I did want to point out your general fund, the very first column, 3 rows up from the bottom, the unassigned fund balance came in at $5.16 million, as mentioned before. But if you go all the way to the second to the last column, the other governmental funds, there is actually a deficit unassigned fund balance of $1.78 or $1.77 million. Those are your special assessment district funds. Nothing new here. This is something that every year the township needs to file a deficit elimination plan, simply because the way it's inherent with the way those special assessment district funds operate. So it does seem a little odd to have $3.4 million of unassigned fund balance across all of your funds when your general fund has a $5.16 million unassigned fund balance. But that's the reason for it. Because those special assessment districts have negative fund balances, those fall into the unassigned category. The other thing I wanted to point out here, if you look at it right kind of in the middle of the page, there's unearned revenue sitting in the ARPA fund. So the township has until December 31st, 2024 to commit about $3 million of ARPA funds remained unspent at June 30, 2023. If you go now to page 19, this shows similarly the fund balances, but this shows revenues and expenditures for all the governmental funds, or for the major governmental funds of the township. General fund, the very first column, shows a $1.54 million increase in total fund balance. And if you go all the way to the very last column, total governmental funds had about a $2.9 million increase in total fund balance. So healthy performance, not only for the township's general fund, but all the other funds of the township as well. Just a couple more pages. If you go all the way to page 23, it's nice to see a statement of net position for your sewer fund as well as the revenues and expenses, but this is your statement of cash flows showing the change in cash in your sewer fund. So the very top section shows how much the sewer fund is generating in terms of cash flows on a day-to-day operating basis. And you can see that total positive cash flows came in at $2.27 million during the course of the year. That middle section there, the cash flows from capital and related financing activities, shows where the cash went. So there was $3.75 million of principal paid down on bonds, long-term bonds payable, the biggest piece of that being about $2.8 million of the 2010 bonds, which were actually paid off in full. So altogether, about $3.1 million was used to pay down the long-term debt for the sewer fund. And then you can see two-thirds of the way down the page, there was a net decrease in cash and investments in the sewer fund of $626,000. But obviously the biggest reason for that being the payment on long-term debt within the sewer fund. A couple more pages. If you go to page 42, we get into the footnote section of the audit report. A lot of my clients like to see how their long-term debt is trending. And this schedule shows what your beginning balance was for your long-term debt payable, long-term bonds payable primarily. So your beginning balance, halfway down the page, total primary government came in at just over $26 million. And throughout the course of the year, about roughly $4 million was paid down, leading to an ending balance of long-term debt of about $22,056,000. So a significant decrease in your long-term bonds payable. And then about two-thirds of the way down that schedule, you can see the payoff of the 2010 sewer bonds. Beginning of the year, $2.84 million of bonds payable, all of which were paid off during the course of fiscal 23. And just one more page I wanted to point out. If you go to page 54, we get a look at this is the last 7 years, the total or the net OPEB liability for the township. And again, I mentioned before, a lot of our communities are struggling to cover the cost of that long-term retiree health care obligation. Here you can see about one-third of the way down the page, there was a one-time adjustment. The change in plan terms decreased the total liability by $211,000 during fiscal 23. That is the primary reason that the total net OPEB liability decreased from $674,000 at June 30, 2022 to $439,000 at June 30, 2023. So other than that, those are the highlights I've got, but I'm certainly happy to take any further questions the board might have.
I think with an audit, only having one correction is pretty good.
Sure. Yeah.
So, great job. Very impressed. Appreciate all the hard work.
Sure. Good.
Very happy.
Well, that speaks more highly to Bob than the auditor. Is that correct?
Well, my thanks for Bob will come in my comments.
Not to be unappreciative, but
Sure. Yeah, most definitely.
No, Bob does an amazing job.
Yes.
So I'm sure he makes your job easy.
Definitely.
So. Anybody else? Mr. Steiner?
Just the last note on your auditor recommendation.
Sure.
I'm sure that comes up all the time, and you've explained part of the reason that we do it the way we do it. Are most other townships and government entities doing it the same way we are?
Yes.
And I think a lot has to do with the expense and the training and everything else that goes along with it.
Every year, the Governmental Accounting Standards Board passes new pronouncements that have an impact on how we report the retiree health care. They've changed the way that we report the tax inflows and outflows for the township. We have new schedules that are required to be reported for that. There's a new lease receivable, new lease standards that have been implemented. And most of our townships just rely on us to help them prepare their financial statements as part of the audit process. And really all that is getting at is we're simply bringing it to the attention of the board that we did play a role in preparing these financial statements. So basically the township provided a trial balance to us. In turn, we worked with the township and prepared a 60-page report. But because we participated in the process of generating this report, it ends up being something that we put in writing and bring to the attention of the board, which is what you're seeing there. The majority of our townships have that as a finding, just because it is cost prohibitive. Like, we're all busy, we all have limited resources. It's tough to go to all the trainings and conferences and whatnot to stay current with all these new standards and the impact on the finances and learn how to roll it out and make sure they get properly footnote disclosed. So that's what the meaning of that text is at the back of the report.
And obviously, you draw from multiple people within your organization too that can help put parts of it together. So
This is all that we do. We have full-time governmental auditors, and we go to the conferences. We are required to have 40-plus hours of continuing education, specifically for these new standards.
and so far, the last couple audits, it's been really clean working with you guys. Again, they said, Mr. Miller's been a big part of that, and I know Trudy and the other departments have also worked very hard to make it easy as possible for you guys to take on the audit.
Sure. Yep, definitely.
Okay, I look for a motion.
Make a motion to accept the 2020 and year ending 2023 of June 30th audit report as submitted.
Support. Motion supported, Mr. Bruning. Any more discussion? Could you call the roll, please?
Mr. Steiner?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Ms. Janusik?
Aye.
Schwer votes aye. Mr. Prony?
Aye, the motion passed 7-0. Thank you. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bob, for all your hard work. Appreciate it. Okay, next is public comment. Comments limited to 5 minutes for board agenda items only.
Gail Kane, 1056 West Temperance, regarding 3B. Sad to hear that Mr. Kovrat is leaving. A man of his knowledge and level of integrity will certainly have a hard spot to be filled on that board. So I wish him all the best of luck. Wonderful person. 7A, just so that everyone knows in the public that $187,000 is strictly for the cost for that plan to be drawn up. That's not for any of the construction or the fees that will be done by Manikin Smith or any other subcontractors. And then F and G, I understand the need for proper staffing levels. That's not the issue. Each department and their specific individual needs and specific levels of education to do their jobs should come under the discretion of the people that are running those departments. And we all know that Trudy's office is going to be in a mess. When the government doesn't know what the rules are, it's hard for her to know. So, good luck. However, with G, setting aside any concern with a tit-for-tat hiring or a friend and family, and not specific to the person, but feel there needs to be the disclosure that she is the designated paid party planner for the DDA, also under the direction of the supervisor. Not sure how she's going to do both jobs, but that's okay. The real concern I have is that a while back, we had an opportunity and the board had made a commitment to hire trained people for that department because there was a revolving door situation. And yet the opportunity presented itself. We had a fully trained person at the level that this one's going for, very educated. The whole family was involved in that process and wanted full time, and yet the board denied it. The person wasn't hired, and the issue was tabled. And instead, we've been going back and forth with untrained people. There was a voiced concern that this revolving door, my understanding is that this full-time assignment, getting in place before November, will also allow this person to have her education paid for by the township. So here we go again. Where's the commitment? Isn't this exactly what the concern was that put this department in a negative spin before? Is there going to be a signed time commitment in place or a method for payback should that fail? This is very disturbing that we had
Please
the
address your comments
opportunity.
to the chair, Ms. Keene. Don't address
No, I'm
them to
certain
the-
that's
to
not
the
the
chair.
way it goes.
No, it is.
At any rate, the issue is
Keene, address your
that
comments to the chair.
I'm looking at the
To
board.
the chair. I'm running the meeting, not you. You address your comments to the chair. I'm the chair. You're going to respect this
I
board.
think there was a rewording of
respect
that
this
at
board.
another time. Let me look at
No,
the
you're
agenda
gonna
and see
respect
what
this
it
board.
says. At any rate, I'm going to finish my
Finish
conversation
your comments, but
despite
you're
your
going to address
interruption.
the chair.
I can look wherever I want to look.
If you want to comment in this board,
There
you
is
need
a
to address
signed
the chair.
time
period.
commitment in place, and I would hope that this board, taking that all into
Ms.
consideration,
Keene,
this is
your
very
comment's
alarming.
done. Your comment's done. Have a seat. Have a seat right now. Your comment's done. You
I
can't
want to
respect this
have it
board.
on record that I'm
Have it on
filing a
record.
formal complaint
It's
against this
on
supervisor.
record. Have a
and
seat.
That the policy and
Ms.
procedure
Keene,
book be
your
followed for
comment's done.
such a
You
complaint.
can't follow the rules of this chamber. Your comment's done.
following
Have
the
a
rules.
seat. Any more comments from the
Filing a
public?
complaint.
Any more comments from the public? Come on up.
I don't know if this is in order or not, so,
We'll wait till you get up to the microphone.
because I don't know all of your rules. My name is Comer Carey. I live at 1024 Borg, Temperance. I'm going back to your agenda piece that has to do with the finance, that we just had the nice report. He reported that most townships spend what you would call your rainy day fund, 70 to
Could you address
100% is where
you
it
address
lies.
the chair, please?
Okay,
You have to address the
it's
chair.
70 to 100%. Said that we here in Bedford have 107% in our rainy day. I want to say to you guys, spend some money. There's no reason to have that percentage in your rainy day. That's all.
Thank you for your comments. Any more comments? Okay, moving on. We have 7A, approve agreement with Jim Jacobs, architect for the maintenance building project. Mr. Jacobs? I'll let you handle this one, Mr. Goldsmith, since you've been very involved with this whole process and where we're at this point.
Sure, be happy to. So we've been over the proposed agreement between James S. Jacobs, the architect who we've used in the past and who is proposed to be used for this particular project. He's done a considerable amount of work already on this project, but I had some concerns relative to some of the provisions. So Mr. Jacobs and I have gone back and forth on that. My main concern with the language in the contract was the township should not be required to indemnify the architect, and you can see in the language that's been changed that has been taken out. So there will be no indemnification clause within the agreement or the contract. Michigan law does not allow a unit of government, a public unit of government, to defend and indemnify, and so I don't want that in the contract. It's been taken out. The instruments of service, which is a way of describing everything that Mr. Jacobs is preparing for this project, will be provided to the township. We'll have that here, and it will be maintained by our records custodian, Trudy, our clerk. We'll be able to use it for that project in the future forever in terms of repairs, maintenance. Even if we were going to create an addition, we would be able to use those instruments of service to validate what has already been done construction-wise on that project. So I'm now satisfied with the agreement with the removal of that particular language.
Okay, Mr. Jacobs, anything that you'd like to add?
I think, as Mr. Goldsmith said, we had a productive meeting, went through the concerns of both parties, and made the revisions to the contract that's before you. And I'm comfortable with that and ready to jump back into designing the building full force for you.
Anybody have any comments, questions, concerns? Okay. Seeing none, I look for a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the agreement with James Jacobs Architect for the maintenance building project.
Support. Okay, motion and support of Mr. Bruning. Any more discussion, Mr. Steiner?
We need to add the value into that motion and as presented. $187,870,
I'm fine with that amendment.
and then the document as presented.
And document, yes.
Fine.
Okay, could you call the roll, please?
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Mr. Steiner?
Aye.
Ms. Janusek? Aye. Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Peroni?
Aye, the motion passed 7-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
Okay, item 8A, vouchers for payment.
like to make a motion that the following vouchers be approved for payment. General Fund, $96,121.85. Fire District Fund, $29,371.19. Fire Equipment Fund, $19,143.26. Downtown Development Authority, $1,773.21. Library Operating, $7,795.25. DDA Construction, $290.25. Building Department, $1,939.11. Sewer O&M Fund, $10,078.98. Trust and Agency Fund, $4,851.08, for a grand total of $171,364.18.
Support.
Okay, motion is supported by Ms. Janizek. Any more discussion? Okay, could you call the roll, please?
Hirschberger votes aye. Ms. Janasek?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Steiner?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Montry?
Aye.
Mr. Peroni?
Aye, the motion passed 7-0. Okay, item 8B, resolution to approve 2024 sewer use rates. Ms. Janizek?
Before you is a resolution for the updated rates for 2024. After reviewing all of the sewer information from 2023, and I have concluded that the sewer rates for 24 will not have to be raised. So continuing with the rates from 23, the operation and maintenance charge will, if this is approved, will remain at $6.48 per 1,000 gallon. The depreciation charge, $2.69, totaling $8.07 every 3 months. The debt service charge, and these are per RE, $12.37 a month, totaling $37.11 every 3 months.
Any comments, questions? Great job not raising them. Okay, I look for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2024 sewer rate resolution as presented.
Second.
Okay, motion and supported by Ms. Hirschberger. Any more discussion? Okay, could you call the roll, please?
Ms. Janasek?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Montry?
Aye.
Mr. Steiner?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Peroni?
Aye, the motion passed 7-0. Item 8C, appointment to the Library Advisory Board. I'm looking for the board to reappoint Ashley Libstorff to the Library Advisory Board to stay on for another term.
I'd like the motion to approve Ashley Owens-Leapsdorf to a new term to the library board as presented.
Support.
Okay, motion and support by Mr. Gore. Any more discussion? And these are 3-year terms, so. Okay, could you call the roll, please?
Friendly amendment, if everyone's okay with it, can we put the ending term of 12/31/26?
Yep.
Accepted.
Okay. Mr. Steiner?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Montry?
No.
Ms. Janasek?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Peroni?
Aye, the motion passed 6-1. Okay, 8D, appointment of Planning Commission representative to the Board of Zoning Appeals. Anybody have any comments, questions? The recommendation? Okay, so the request is to appoint Pat Mahoney as the Planning Commission representative to the Board of Zoning Appeals as recommended by the Planning Commission on 12/20/23. That's the motion.
Support.
Okay, motion supported by Mr. Montry. Any more discussion? Okay, could you call the roll, please?
I'm sorry, I missed that.
Pat Mahoney. I made a motion. Craig supported.
Right, second, okay. So Mr. Peroni?
Aye.
Mr. Montry?
Aye.
Ms. Janasek?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Steiner?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye.
Okay, the motion passed 7-0. Okay, item 8E, salary and benefit package for the deputy clerk. Ms. Hirschberger?
So as you all know, Nancy will be retiring. Her official retirement date is January 17th. So at this time, I am asking the board to approve her salary at the $54,135 effective January 18, 2024. This is based on what the other deputies get paid. She has been training in my office for over 10 months in preparation for Nancy's retirement. While the clerk's department is greatly going to miss Nancy, Amber has been doing a great job. She knows she has some large shoes to fill, but she's been doing really good at getting through this in such a short time period.
Did you make the motion?
No, but
Is
I
that a
can
motion?
make a
Yeah,
motion.
look for a motion.
Make a motion to set the salary for the deputy clerk at $54,135 effective January 18th, 2024.
Support.
Okay, motion supported by Mr. Bruning. Any more discussion? I'll just say Amber's been great to work with, and I think she'll be a good fit for your department. And so, congratulations to both of you, because you need good people. Okay, could you call a roll, please?
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Ms. Janasek?
Aye.
Mr. Steiner?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Peroni?
Aye, the motion passed 7-0. Item 8F, hiring of a full-time employee in the clerk's department. Ms. Hirschberger?
On that note, I am requesting that Amber was hired part-time. She's been working pretty close to full-time hours, so I would like to bring on a fourth person full-time in the clerk's department. I would like to start him at 40 with benefits, and after 6 months, I could review and come back to the board to raise them to an administrative assistant's pay, which is what Angie is paid right now, depending on how fast this person goes, but I would like to start at least at 6 months. The board knows the clerk's department has been working diligently with 4 employees, and this has become a necessity with all the new election laws that are now in place. With all of the normal day-to-day operations under the clerk, passports, record-keeping notices, agendas, and board packets for multiple boards, FOIA requests, upkeep of the website, the cable channel, oversight of the IT in here, and many other things that I know I've forgotten. And the election law changes, the clerk's department would not be able to keep up without 4 full-time employees. We're actually struggling with 4, these laws and all the changes. And in my comments, you'll learn a little bit about these new laws coming up. But this change would be a 4th full-time. It would be an increase from what we're currently paying, a total of $28,500. But if you look back, our passports are making $30,000 to $35,000 a year. And if I don't have a 4th person, that would be the first thing I cut. I don't want to cut services, but with the new election laws, there's no other way around this.
Anybody have any comments, questions?
I have a question for Trudy. So would this job be posted then? You're looking to hire someone, or you already have someone in
No,
mind?
I don't have anyone in mind.
Okay.
It would go out on our website, and I would have to do interviews and then bring it back to the board for hiring.
Anybody else?
This is simply just creating the position and the pay so I can go out and look.
I will say this: clerk's department's constantly busy, and there's people at the counter constantly every day. They're always busy. There's always work to do, especially during election times. I mean, it's kind of a madhouse. So I think it's good to have trained people, and I think having another person over there with all these new laws is just, somebody asked me if it's needed. My answer is, I don't know. I don't work in the clerk's department. You have to trust the elected official who's running the department to know whether or not they need it or not. So it would be the same thing for my office. So there's a certain level of trust you have to have with elected officials to know what they need. So I support it. Anybody else have any comments, or we look for a motion?
I'll make a motion that this board approve a fourth full-time employee in the clerk's department. Starting salary would be $40,000 plus benefits, and after 6 months, a pay would go up to an administrative assistant if, after the review, the clerk feels it's appropriate.
Support.
A motion is supported by Mr. Bruning. Any more discussion? I mean, the only thing I would say is with the pay, we have the wage study coming, so I'm sure, I don't know what that will say, but, so once we have
I
that.
don't know if I mentioned full benefits, too.
Oh, you said that.
Okay, I thought I did, but I
I
wanted
don't
to
know if it
make
was
sure.
in your motion, but you said it.
Okay, well, we're putting it in the motion.
Okay.
You
Could
okay
you call
with
the roll,
that?
please?
You're okay
Yeah,
with that?
I'm fine with
Okay.
that.
Okay.
Schwiger votes aye. Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Montry?
Aye.
Mr. Steiner? Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Ms. Janusik?
Aye.
Mr. Prony?
Aye, the motion passed 7-0. Item 8G, change assessing employee from part-time to full-time. I'm looking for the board to approve Rachel Tarangelo from part-time field assessor to full-time field assessor, assessing administrator. This will help the assessing department to achieve the 20% goal of reviewing properties in Bedford Township as recommended by the state of Michigan. If full-time is approved, Ms. Tarangelo will also be learning to do deeds, property transfers, principal resident exemptions, veterans exemptions, pricing properties, sketching, and reviewing pivot point. In addition, she will serve as a backup to the front counter. Ms. Tarangelo is also working on achieving her Michigan Certified Assessing Officer Level 2 certification, and completion should be in September of 2024. This will then give the assessing department 2 Level 2 assessors. With the assessing department being a critical function of the township and the state, it is imperative to have people cross-trained and ready to fill future openings as well. This position will also serve as a backup to the assistant assessor when needed. Tony Menard, head assessor, is also recommending that Ms. Tarangelo move to full-time. So if we have an opening for assistant assessor in the future, there is someone on staff ready to fill with no interruption. According to Tony Menard, Ms. Tarangelo is reliable, willing to learn, and is an asset to the assessing department. At this, which I would agree with. She's a hard worker, shows up every day and never complains and does her job well. At this time, I'm recommending moving Ms. Tarangelo to full-time at a starting salary of $40,000, and after 6 months, a review will be done to bring Ms. Tarangelo up to the administrative assistant pay level. And that's my motion.
Support.
Okay, motion is supported by Mr. Gore. Any more discussion? Okay, could you call the roll, please?
Mr. Prony?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Steiner?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Montry?
Aye.
Ms. Janusik?
Aye.
Schwiger votes aye.
Okay, motion passed 7-0. Item 8H, approval to dissolve the fire advisory board. Anybody have any? Oh, Chief.
I didn't know if anyone had any questions. Just a real quick history of it. In 2003, a fire commission was established under Chief Bofia. That went until about 2015. When Chief Ruiz altered that board, it went from a commission down to an advisory board. Since 2015, it has been running. Since we've seen that, obviously everybody's schedules are very busy, and we are at this point having a hard time getting a quorum together. So what we're looking at doing is taking that away from an official board, moving that into the department. We'll keep those same 5 people, including myself, which is 6. So keeping the same board themselves, just bringing them internally into the department. That way we can start to look at more specific topics. Instead of having to have a generic or a formal meeting, we can appoint 1 or 2 people that can work on projects instead of having to go through the entire meeting forum.
Okay. Anybody have any comments, questions? Okay. I look for a motion.
I think it's a good idea. I really
Hopefully it'll
do.
work out, yes.
I agree.
Because it was just an advisory board to begin with, so they really didn't have anything except to help you. So informally being able to help you, I think, would work a lot better.
I'll make the motion to accept the proposal by Fire Chief Van Clarion to dissolve the current Bedford Township Fire Department Advisory Board effective immediately and will strictly be a voluntary group that will be monitored and maintained by the fire chief.
Support.
Okay, motion supported by Mr. Gore. Any more discussion? Okay, could you call the roll, please?
Mr. Steiner?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Ms. Janasek?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Peroni?
Aye, the motion passed 7-0. Thank you, Chief. Okay, number 9, comments from the public. Comments limited to 2 minutes. I'm just going to read this public comment time under our board agenda here. Bedford Township operates under the rules of parliamentary procedure, which states citizens have the right to attend the meetings and be permitted to address the body on matters that are relevant to business. The Township Board furthermore encourages your input, addressing the board through the chair. Public comment time is an opportunity for comments and questions. Please be respectful to the board, audience, and outside viewers. Board members shall also respect those addressing the board. Thank you for your participation. You clear?
Gail Kane, 105.6 West Temperance. Welcome, Amber. Mr. Peroni, I understand you didn't earn your high school diploma. If you had, you would know that the proper conduct while speaking to people is to look at them. Addressing somebody is a verbal term, not a look. So I didn't break any rules. I didn't name anyone as I did before starting this conversation. It's sad that your ego doesn't permit you to be civil in your leadership role at these meetings. It's really sad.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for your comments, Ms. Kane. Any more comments from the public? Okay, all right. Moving on to comments from board members, Mr. Steiner.
I'm good for this evening. Just thankfully that this is not snow, it's rain.
Mr. Montry?
Nothing for me.
Mr. Gore?
I just want to say job well done to Bob and his crew and everybody on the financial audit. That's fantastic. It's great news. We're in a lot better shape than a lot of other entities. So fantastic job again, Bob. You do a great job. Really glad you're on board with us. Don't leave ever. So, thanks.
Okay, Mr. Bruning?
I just want to say congratulations to Michigan Wolverines.
Woo-woo.
Great game last night. I'd also like to wish good luck to the Mules. They're wrestling Thursday, Monroe, and Saturday up in Grand Rapids, Michigan, someplace. Other than that, everyone have a good night, good weekend. Thanks.
Ms. Hirschberger?
Can we go to Janasek first?
Oh, Ms. Janasek. Go ahead.
I don't have anything.
Okay, Ms. Hirschberger?
The Township Hall will be closed on Monday, January 15th in observance of Martin Luther King Jr. Day. We sent out the presidential primary ballot selection form to all voters who are on our permanent ballot list now. It is different. Those of you who are on the permanent ballot list, you get all ballots. You don't have to request, but this selection form was sent to you because this is the primary where you have to tell us if you want a Republican ballot, a Democratic ballot, or no ballot. So those forms were sent out. Starting starting Thursday, January 18th, the clerk's office will have to call, email, and mail, not one or the other, not choices, all three, everyone that has not returned their selection form. Just one of the many new laws we have to follow. As of today, we have just shy of 2,000 residents who have not returned their ballot selection. Please get it back in my office so we don't have to do that to 2,000 people. It's a lot of phone calls, a lot of wasted postage. The letters were sent out to everyone who submitted an application to be an election inspector. Please make sure, if you are interested in working the elections this year, to call and sign up for training. We will need the day and time that you are interested in coming to that. Our passport office is currently not making any new appointments until after this election. We are way too busy. If you already have an appointment, we are honoring them, but we are not making any more appointments till after March. On a good note, we finally received the $21,000 grant that I applied for almost 2 years ago for the election security. And I told her I wouldn't say anything if she came, but she didn't come. So I want Nancy to know she is going to be missed by not only my department, but many departments. She has been with us for almost 10 years. And she did an awesome job. Not that Amber won't, but like I said, they're big shoes to fill.
I would have thought she'd have wanted to come to one more meeting.
No, she said, I don't have to come, right? I said, no.
Okay. Krista and I attended the Federal Aid Committee meeting, which was a very good meeting. Lots going on in Bedford. One positive thing through it is the Stearns Road will be getting the shoulders paved on both ends, almost 5 miles worth. So it'll go through all of Bedford Township, which is great news because I don't know if you hit some of them potholes on the edges. And so that'll be really nice. Lots of work being done through the federal aid projects. The Road Commission is doing a very good job with their funds and how they're organized in today's environment. With working with contractors, they're doing a great job. Lots of good stuff happening in the DDA, lots of good projects. We continue to get positive reports through the speed cameras. We get updates from the Sheriff's Department every month. I just wanted to touch base on the flock cameras because we have had a couple questions about that. They only take pictures of the vehicles that pass through, and they're only flagged if they're within the flock system. If somebody has a warrant out for the arrest or they're wanted somewhere else, or it'll flag that to the Sheriff's Department. So it's a criminal deterrent. It'll capture the cameras of somebody that does theft to a store or whatever. But it goes to the cloud and it's gone after 30 days. There's no video. There's nobody that can access it outside of the Sheriff's Department. So just wanted to touch base on that. Some people are worried that it's more than that, but I'm also very thankful for Bob. We take for granted, some of the people that were on the board years ago remember how difficult budget meetings were and how difficult that was. It was painful going through the process, and people didn't really understand it, including board members, where we were at, and that was just a clear picture. We're doing very well, and I just really appreciate your hard work, Bob. He puts a lot of extra work. I can't tell you how many Saturdays and Sundays I've seen his truck out front. So I'm eager to see the wage study come back because that man needs a raise. But I'm thankful that Mr. Pryor is going to be meeting with Mr. Peacock and Manica Smith to see if we can get this worked out with the sidewalk in front of the apartment. So I'm thankful we're back at the table with him. Hopefully we can get that worked out because it's much needed. I think we should still move forward with the project, even if it doesn't work out, and just stop it at his property and do all the other portions around it, and then someday we can complete it. But at least while we have the money, we could get a lot of it done. The walkways at the intersections, and there's a lot of work that could be done without that. So I'm hopeful that it moves forward. Other than that, things are going very well at the township. Hopefully everybody had a nice Christmas and New Year, and I'm looking forward to a great year. So other than that, anybody have anything to add? No? Motion to adjourn? Motion to adjourn. Adjourn.